Everybody, welcome to another edition of NTI's PodTalk. This is our interview series where we talk to students and grads and other community leaders about nutrition and NTI. So today we are happy to have one of our students, Kaydee Gregg, and I appreciate you taking the time to be here today, Kaydee.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
So very quickly, how long have you been a student at NTI?
So I have been a student in the program for over a year. I started last February. So I'm on track to be done hopefully by next fall. So
Great.
yeah.
Good. Well, how'd you find out about NTI and what made you choose us?
So it's kind of a process. I did a lot of research on my own, but I was working with a holistic nutritionist for a year or so to help improve some health challenges I was having. And she really opened the door for me and educated me about things that I had never come across in the, sorry, my cat, in the Western medical world, such as like food intolerances and sensitivities, deficiencies and stuff like that I actually was having health challenges with. So she actually, working with her and listening to what she had to say, really impacted my life for the better, improved my quality of life, and really changed my life. And I decided that was going to be my new career path. I wanted to help other people the way she helped me, and educate people about how amazing and powerful nutrition can be to combat some health challenges. And so I did some research on my own, and I'm fortunate enough to live in Denver. So I found NTI from a Google search of really good nutrition programs in Denver, and I found you guys. And something that really led me to you also was how science and research based you guys are, and the emphasis on that, because I do have a science background, and I knew it was going to be a good fit for me, and I happened to be in Denver, so it worked out really well. So
yeah, good. Well, that is honestly, that's the classic story. I'm sure you've run into that with other students, where they have a health challenge or someone in their family has a health challenge.
Yeah.
They start to do personal research. They start to use nutrition as a tool to support, or to bring balance to their health challenge, whatever they're trying to do. And they become passionate about it. They want to share it with others. And they realize that they need to have some formal training to be able to have credibility to share it with others. So you exemplify exactly the classic situation with our students.
Yeah, for sure.
So I know that you are still sort of in process, but do you have any favorite courses or favorite sort of, I know it's hard to say, it's like, yeah, one favorite, you can't say one favorite, but any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do. So, coming from a heavy science background in school, chemistry was just my weakest course in my educational training. So when I saw biochem on the curriculum, I was like, oh my gosh, chemistry again. But it actually turned out to be one of my favorite courses, is biochem. I find it really fascinating how chemistry and nutrition are hand in hand, and how the body breaks down and needs certain nutrients to sustain life and for certain systems to work. And it's fascinating to me. So when I went into biochem with an open and more positive mind and looked at it through a nutritional lens, it really resonated with me. So yeah, I really liked biochem and digestion and detox for sure. That class, I myself personally have had some gastrointestinal challenges, and learning about the importance of decreasing inflammation and gut microbiome health as an underlying decipher of how health is, really resonated with me. So those two have been my favorite classes, but again, it is hard to choose it's just, they're all really interesting. So those two though have stood out to me for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because I have a similar experience. I don't have a science background. My college education was not in science, but I did take chemistry in college, and it was a struggle for me. I really struggled with it, and just sort of got through it with help from classmates and
Yeah.
friends and that kind of stuff. And I thought, oh God, I never have to do that again. And then when I embarked on this field and started to understand that I actually do need to understand chemistry,
Right.
I agree with you. Biochem is my favorite subject.
Yeah.
I love biochemistry. So yeah, it does take looking at it from a different perspective.
For
And
sure.
when you have a passion for understanding nutrition, you realize that you need to understand the biochemical interactions of nutrients with, the human body. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It really gives you a even greater appreciation for how amazing the human body is. It's just a different level of, it just fascinates me. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, so as you know, we have different formats that we offer our courses in class, online, either group start or independent start. What kind of ways have you taken courses?
So I'm fortunate enough to be here in Denver with NTI where it's based. So I have chosen to do the majority of my classes in classroom. That is my particular learning style as well. So I have, face-to-face contact with the professor and class discussions. I learn well in classroom, but I have taken some courses online. When life gets in the way, or you're not here in Denver, the online option has been really wonderful as well. Same great content, same access to knowledgeable professors. And yeah, so I've done both, but I've done the majority in classroom. And
Mhm.
I've really liked that, but I have benefited from both formats for sure.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we try to do. We try to give flexibility for people to make going to school as easy as possible and to fit into their life because, most people have jobs, have a lot of people have
Sure.
kids, all kinds of other things. And so I'm glad you've been able to experience
Yeah.
different formats and recognize the benefit of
Yeah.
both of them.
And the
Yeah.
audio lectures online are wonderful. My mom came to visit me, and I was actually your course, the nutrients, the building blocks, and I took that online, and I was listening to your lecture online, and my mom was just like blown away by how great the content is, and
Oh,
so
good.
online is just as great if you can't get in the classroom. So.
Well, thanks for that. I like that.
Mhm.
Um, so any particular subject that has resonated with you that maybe you want to, specialize in and focus on when you graduate?
Yeah, so I came into this program, like I mentioned before, like wanting to help people and get an idea of how you can use nutrition as a way to feel better. I personally am an endurance athlete, so I really am thinking I want to specialize in sport nutrition and enhancing performance, preventing injury. But through this journey, I have, and especially through digestion and detox, learning the importance of the microbiome and how it can be linked to mental health and that's an up and coming field, psychobiotics. That also really interests me. So I'm still, I am passionate about sport nutrition and helping people reach optimal wellness, but I also find the microbiome and digestion aspect of nutrition really interesting. So I don't know yet. I wonder if I could combine those two, or specialize in both, get some, so I don't know yet, but those two have really, sport nutrition and overall gut health, and I'm pretty passionate about. So um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Good. Well, that's really interesting. And that, there are so many different things that people can do once they graduate. And once you start recognizing the wide open field of opportunities and ways to combine interests, I think it's really helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so I know that you said that you made some nutritional changes even prior to coming to school, but
Good.
have you I'm sure you have, but have you made other dietary changes since learning, what you've been learning here?
Like you said, I was working really intimately with my holistic nutritionist, and she, made me aware of some dietary allergies that I have and some stuff that was causing me some inflammation. So I wouldn't say I've changed my diet, but I would say going through this program and some of the classes and coursework and the content that I've learned, I'm learning how to pair things properly. Pairing your fat soluble vitamins with the healthy fat to increase absorption. So I've learned, I would say, all the wholesome foods that I have been eating, I've been learning what nutrients are actually in them and how they benefit me, and in ways to combine them to utilize the nutrients and again, obtain healthy optimal wellness, I guess, and decrease inflammation. So my diet, again, hasn't really changed, but I'm more aware of what is actually in the foods that I'm eating and how they are exactly benefiting me. And I find that really interesting. For sure. So
and kind of helps maybe justify what you were doing,
yes,
but you maybe didn't quite understand why. Now you have a much deeper understanding of why.
And also, like in biochem too, we were learning about how certain medications can deplete certain vitamins, like B vitamins, and that aspect of me. I was on medication, and I noticed my energy levels were down, and I'm like, oh well, I'm probably depleted on B vitamins. So I started incorporating more vitamin B rich foods and supplementation. So knowledge is really powerful, and knowing proper nutrients and stuff and what's going into your food is awesome. So
yeah. Good.
Yeah.
So we've talked about like subjects that you're interested in, but any idea about what you want to actually do after you graduate? Like, how do you want to do personal consulting or kind of work for someone else? Any thoughts about that?
Yeah. So, I'm going to go about this with an open mind. Ideally, I think it would be really great to have my own practice and be able to help people one-on-one. But I have been giving it some thought, since I will be freshly out of school, maybe working under somebody to gain some experience and some knowledge and have someone more as a mentor might also be a good idea. So we'll see. But I think maybe starting out under somebody and gaining some experience and vital experience and mentorship first, and then maybe eventually having my own practice, I think is the route I'm thinking. So
yeah. Any thoughts about taking the NANP board exam after you graduate?
Yes, that is definitely on my goals. I want to do that right after I graduate, and I'm very grateful that the NTI program prepares us for that and gives us the opportunity to sit in and do that. I think it could be very helpful in, increasing credibility after the certification, and reaching the highest level of professional achievement in terms of holistic nutrition in the field of holistic nutrition. And then once you are board certified, I've been reading, you become a member of NANP, which opens up the door for a large community of medical professionals and nutrition professionals that you can kind of have as your like-minded base, and have some, again, mentorships, have additional sources. So I think it would be a very good investment for me to do that, and I'm planning on doing it. So I'm actually excited to study and pass that. So
yeah, good. Good. Some people are like excited to take another exam.
I know. I don't know. I'm weird like that, I guess. I'm looking forward to it.
So, you've already mentioned that we're a science-based program, and clearly there's a lot of learning and a lot of work, so do you have any advice about how to handle the workload?
Yeah, so I have noticed, coming into the program, you're going to be with classmates that have been out of school for an extended period of time. I myself have been out of school for an extended period of time. And then you also have people that are, freshly out of school that are still in the routine of studying and taking notes. So I think the thing that has helped me the most with the coursework is, first of all, going into it as seeing it as fun and exciting. It's going to be valuable information. It is exciting. And I think it really helps to have professors at NTI that are really passionate and knowledgeable about the subject. So that helps kind of lessen the overwhelming feeling, and you're not in this alone. It is a lot of coursework in a 10-week period, but it's not impossible because you have great resources, you have your fellow classmates, you find yourself getting into a routine of what works for you. And I have found for me, after the 3-hour lectures is decompressing a little bit and then going back to my notes to instill it into my mind, and then taking the quizzes. So if you look at it as, just taking it week by week, bite-sized chunks, knowing that you're not in it alone, and the material is really, it's just fun and exciting to learn. I think that really helps with the feelings of being overwhelmed, no matter how long you've been out of school. So.
Yeah, that's definitely what I often recommend, is that after you've had your lecture learned, watched a recording if you're an online student, whatever, going back and integrating things, taking more notes if you need to, and then taking the quizzes, because that's the best way to do it, to reinforce that just learned material.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because the 3-hour lecture, it's a lot of information over quite a long period of time. But you're right, once you go back over it and solidify it in your mind and do the quizzes, it makes it more manageable. So, and again, I'm going to say the professors are fantastic, whether you're doing in class or online, very knowledgeable, passionate, and available for any questions. So.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad you've experienced that.
Had a great experience.
So I know you said you're a runner. I don't know if running is something that you do for a stress relief, but
it is.
So in addition to running, do you have other things that you do for stress reduction in your life?
Yeah, I do.
Or not?
I have found, and again, working with this holistic nutritionist and encouraging me to, start cooking more and knowing what's going into my food and what ingredients are going into my food, I've really found cooking and baking has been just a wonderful stress reliever for me. It's just now, it used to be stressful, and then now it's just, I enjoy it. It's fun. And so I like cooking and baking. And then I also like reading. I'm a huge reader, and like anything from fiction like Harry Potter, up into scientific books, or obviously nutrition books as well. So I definitely like reading and cooking and baking and running. So yeah.
So I oftentimes people are, when you say you like reading, even including nutrition and science books, like for me, the best stress relief is to read research papers.
Yes, me too. When I was introduced to PubMed through this program, I'm like, this is the best thing ever.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. It's like Saturday night. That's my favorite to do, is to read research papers. So.
Yeah, we're very alike in that, for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's all the questions I have for you. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. I think it's really helpful for prospective students and current students to be able to hear the experiences of other people who are engaged in the program. So I appreciate you taking the time. And
thank you.
I also really want to thank you for being a student at NTI.
Yeah, well, thank you for having a great program. And I'm excited to get out there and practice, but then I'm also sad to leave. So just want to be a student forever,
Yeah. Maybe we'll come up with a new program that you can
I'll join.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks so much, and have a good one.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.